Right then, start of another week. It is Monday afternoon. Yeah, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's Bank Holiday Monday, so we've done no picking, no packaging, no posting today because everywhere's shut. So all I've done so far is a bit of a planning session and just reviewed the numbers from last week. And the numbers are positive because I've done no sourcing for a week. So we spent less than last year, which is to be expected, and we earned more than last year, which is great, but we didn't earn enough for where I want to be. But we've still got the rest of today to go. So far I've had 14 orders, I think, for the bank holiday weekend, with half a day left to go, which is pretty good. Still above where I usually am, above 8 or 9, so that's pretty promising. Because there's no picking and packing today, first thing I'm going to do is take you through the plan, and then secondly we're going to get into this Boom wholesale sack. So the plan for this week is, so today is Monday, so we are doing our planning session now. We're going to cross list 10 onto Vinted and put 5 live from our drafts. Tomorrow on Tuesday we are going to do 5 live from our drafts, pick and post, cross list 10 and then do 10 photos, because I've got to start processing all of this that I'm going to pull out today. Wednesday is the office day, so there's not a lot of eBay stuff done, so there's no picking and packing or anything like that. But we're going to do 5 live, list 10 and do 10 photos. Thursday I play football at night, so there'll be no photos done, but it's the usual stuff there. Back onto Friday where we're going to commit to do another 10 photos. And then Saturday is where we're going to do 30 photos. So 60 photos in total. And then on Sunday I'm going to prep the items that need prepping. So that is sort of this pile here. So some of this just needs ironing, some of it just needs a bit more spot treatment, so things that haven't come out fully in the wash. So all of that in that tub I'm going to process on Sunday, and by doing that it should give me a good start to next week. It should give me another 30 items to get to grips with for next week as well. That's the plan. Going through the actual numbers, this is the inbound for week 32, and as you can see the orange line is above the blue line from last year, and it is above by 20 quid at the minute. And then the out graph, the orange line here, is below the blue line, so that is really good, and we're below by about 40 quid. Not too bad. Hopefully we can bump that up with the no sourcing month of June. Bring that back up so that we're still in profit. That's the plan. I don't think that many plans go exactly as they should. You know, I've already said that I've got a lot more outgoings this year to become more efficient. So obviously I've got the VA that I pay for. I now pay for the cross listing platform. I pay for the most expensive shop. I now have a van that is covered on the business expenses, so every time it needs an MOT it goes through the business rather than a personal. Every time it needs a service, every time it needs a tyre changing, that all goes through. And yeah, there are more costs this year than last year, but the sales have been down this year by quite a bit, so I'm feeling it a little bit more. Now, if you're new here, I do this part-time. This is very much a evenings and weekends gig at the minute. I have a full job, 9 to 5 during the week, so I don't rely on this money for survival of the day-to-day bills or anything like that. So I'm in a fortunate position where if we do lose a little bit of money, I can rein it back in and bring a little bit back in. I don't have to hit a certain figure a day to make sure that my gas and electric bill is covered or my water bill is covered, etc. So I'm in a fortunate position that way. Some of you in the past couple of videos, let me put you down because my arm's aching. In the past couple of videos, I've asked about the VA. Now, I will happily tell you how I found the VA that I'm using, and you can do with that information as you wish. I don't recommend what I do, if that makes sense. I don't want you to go and follow exactly what I've done and get burnt from it. At the same time, you might be really lucky and find one first time. Also, I've had questions about, am I worried that the VA prices items too high or too low, and what I do with that. So first of all, finding a VA. The easiest way that I found was I went onto Fiverr and I simply typed in eBay lister, and there's quite a few that come up. Now, when I decided that I was going to go for a VA, I set out a few criteria that I needed. First of all, I needed it to be cost effective for me, so it needed to be around about £1 an item. I think I set out £1.20 was my max per item when the costings were broke down. So that was one factor. The other factors that were in play was I wanted a quick turnaround. Some of them say it could take up to 10 days. I didn't want 10 days. I wanted sort of 3 to 5 days. So that dwindled quite a lot of them down because they all give themselves 10 days. And I'm sure that they will get it to you sooner, but they gave themselves 10 days, whereas mine only gives himself 5 days. He usually gets it before the 5, but at the max it's 5 days. The other thing that I wanted to look at was the amount that I could send them. So some of them on Fiverr, so you have to have a minimum of 80, a minimum of 100, and that's what they'll do. I didn't want that. If I wanted to send 20, I wanted somebody that would accept my 20 and process my 20. I couldn't guarantee that I was going to be able to do 100 every time. As a part-time reseller, as I said, I don't have strict listing goals. I wanted to be able to send whatever I could send. So after working all of those out, I was only left with 2 or 3 qualified listers on eBay, and I went with one who had the best feedback from repeat customers. So I looked at all of their feedback. So as I said, it was 3, and I looked at all of their feedback, and only one had repeat customers saying that they had used them and yet again they had been spot on. This person had used them and yet again everything was perfect. There was some feedback in there that said that when we first used that VA, they weren't doing it as we wanted it to them. We wanted them to do it, and after a few conversations, they got it, and it was exactly as they wanted it. So I was lucky that I went with the first VA that I chose because I'd filtered it down to get there, and he's been very good ever since then. That VA has been spot on. Now, when you first start with a VA, your expectations and what they deliver might not be the same thing. You might have a standard description that you want to use in your descriptions. You can send that to the VA, they can do that for you. They will just add that to every single one. They may do things slightly differently to what you're used to doing, and they might not understand what the item is that you're trying to sell. So the other filter I looked at was, does this VA specialize in clothing? because that's what I wanted it for. That's why I don't send the everything else doesn't go to the VA, because he doesn't specialize in everything else. He specializes in clothing. So that's why I do all the everything else stuff. So if you have specific ways that you want your title structured, or if you have specific needs, like everything is free postage, or everything is paid postage, or there's a returns policy, etc., I would suggest setting that up first and then making sure that the VA does the listing as you would like to see it. So if you always want to see the brand first and you never want to see vintage Adidas, you just want to see Adidas vintage, if that's the way you want it, those conversations need to happen really early on. And what they tend to do, or what mine did, was he basically did 5 as a demo. So he said, can you send me 5? I sent him the 5. He sent it almost straight away, because obviously he wants the work at the beginning. So it was within 5 hours I'd got 5 back, and he basically asked, is this what you're looking for? Are you happy with this format? And it was by far and away better than anything I could have done. So I was like, absolutely. And then I went back in retrospectively and made sure that all of my policies were correct. And then from then on, whenever he made a listing, my policies were all bang on. I let him do the description because of the SEO background, whatever it is that he works on with keywords, etc. I felt like if he knows that, let him do that. I don't have a standard description. It was usually AI generated anyway, so now it is standard to what he's done, and that's how I found the VA. Regarding pricing, the VA will do prices, but the prices are not always what you expect them to be. So for example, he may go higher or lower on certain items. So if you have been watching the channel for a while, you'll know that I had some woolly jumpers. There was one, is it like a pashmina woolly jumper with a heart on the back? And I shown you sold comps and they were like over £100. Now when I got that one back, he priced it at $29.99, because there's not many on eBay and you have to do searches elsewhere. So you do have to go in and just tweak prices to what you know. There's a lot of things that I go, that's probably a bit high, but I've got offers on and I'm promoted, I'm going to let it roll. And they've come through. All of the shorts, like last week I said that I sold 2 pairs of shorts for 40 odd quid. That's because that was the price he set and they sold. So I may as well list it high and reduce it down over time. That's my theory on it. I do check every single listing that comes through just to make sure it's bang on. There are some times where it's a men's and he's advertised it as a women's. Sometimes that I have to change that, but it's still quicker than me having to create a listing from scratch. I hope that's a little bit informative of how I found my VA and what I have to do to get the listings live. Anyway, let's get into this boom wholesale sack. Now, those of you that have been watching the channel a few weeks will know that the last boom wholesale sack I had I wasn't happy with. And I contacted Boom several times, email and telephone, and got nothing back. In the meantime, I'd already ordered this before the other sack came back, so I'm hoping that this is better than the last one. The last one was branded, and this is an unbranded, and normally I get unbranded, so hopefully that was just an anomaly and I'll be happy with this one. Right. Hopefully that table holds up. So first one we've got. Well, that's nice already. London Wasps rugby shirt. That's already a better start. Michael Jackson, that is tiny. I think that might be. That is really small. I don't know if there's going to be much in that. Oh, we've got a Thrasher t-shirt. That should do okay. We have a No Fear t-shirt. No Fear used to be one of them brands that I used to take my take the mickey out of my dad for wearing, but I don't know. Oh, here's another No Fear. That one's a bit wackier. We have a Weird Fish polo. That's massive. What size is that? 5XL. That'll sell quite well, I reckon. $5X, nice. Nice, I like these ones with the old tiger prints on. Oh, we have an Old Guy's Rule. Not a lot of value in them, but the fact that it's got a motorcycle on it would tell me that it might be okay. Funnily enough, it's still got the charity shop tag on it for £5 from Helen and Douglas House. There's a vintage t-shirt. This is still perfect. Still perfect after all these years. 1989. I'll do okay. Honeywell ball going to the top. No idea. So this is another one of them brands. So again, when I send that to the VA, I'll have to do some research on that because that brand doesn't seem to sell too regularly on eBay, but does on other sites. Quite a nice one. The Clever Shepherd. Bit of a knitted cardigan. This is a wool jacket. It's got some details on it. I don't know what that is. That's a nice one. That won't hang around too long, I wouldn't have thought. I mean, we are supposed to be coming up to summer, but it is raining currently, so who knows? It's a very nice one, that one. some Rohan trousers, lovely, size large, women's. They will do very well. Pooh and Friends. Winnie the Pooh dungarees. Are they from the Disney store? Don't know. Another jumper. And another one. This is a vintage Marks and Spencer's. Marks and Spencer's tends to do alright for me, but it does seem to have, oh, it's just cardboard by the looks of it. Yep. Right. Plain cable knit jumper. See, these are the ones I don't particularly like because they've got no tags in them at all. There's no size, there's no brand. I think I've got 4 or 5 of them because they've all come in the Boom wholesale set. So we'll see. I'm sure I can get rid of them in the winter. We're going to, oh, all this, that's nice. Has it got all of its buttons? Yep. Nice little Orvis piece. Oh yes, Lucy and Yak just sold a pair of trousers for them. This is a small size, I think it's an extra small. I don't think they do massive sizing anyway. Seems quite nice. Nice Honda racing jacket. Very nice. There's a bit of a mark on it, but still, I think just checking the tags. Yeah, that's fine. Nice, like that one. And the table's just gone. I'm slacking. A lot of weight there. Right. Try again. I'm about to create another pile. So we have, yeah, another one of them. This one with a zip. Again, probably not a great amount in that. What the Harley Davidson, are they called chaps? Is that what they are? Oh, now they're cool. See what I mean about the unbranded set? Quality, can't go wrong with an unbranded set. Nice. It's got the old Harley Davidson patch there with the wings. Hopefully all the zips work and stuff. Oh, I mean, it's just a plain Ford jumper, but I'm sure that will appeal to somebody. just says deal on it. I don't know what. Deal? Never heard of it. Feels very like fat facey, jewelsy type branding. Oh. It says Yellowstone National Park on it. It's a very nice jumper, I like that one. We have a fat face shirt, women's size 12 in white. That should do quite well this summer. Actually looks pretty clean as well. Usually women's white shirts don't stay free of makeup. There is a bit of a stain down the arm. I don't know if you can see that very well. So I'll have to try and clean that. We have a big puffer coat. Oh, okay, from Musto. Nice. I like that one. An Orvis shirt, like the brand Orvis. A fat face shirt. We definitely like the brand Fat Face. A Weird Fish women's size 18. What I find with the Weird Fish ones are that the bigger sizes sell better with these. So I've got some in mediums in my store. They haven't really shifted. Some of the 2XL men's, they went really quickly. And then the women's one, if they're sort of like 16 or above, they don't seem to hang around too long either. So happy that that's that size. This feels like a Weird Fish again. That is a Weird Fish large. I think this is the last one. Ah, another Orvis. Yeah, that's a nice shirt, I like that one. Size is that one? Medium. I'm definitely not getting my body in that. And there we have it. Well, that was much more successful than the previous one. I think I'm just going to stick to the unbranded sack going forward. I seem to get more bang for my buck. Right, that's Monday done. There's not going to be much else now. I'm going to go back, spend the rest of the bank holiday with the family, and I will catch you bright and early tomorrow morning for a big packing session. Welcome to Tuesday, and wow, Monday just was another level on eBay for me. I don't know if you had the same experience on this bank holiday Monday, but it just went off. Normally I get 4 or 5 sales a day, but I got like 12 sales in one day, which means I've had my best sales day ever was £248 for the one day. I can't believe it. And it's really helped with the cash flow as well. So we're now nearly £500 in profit for last week. And previous weeks we've been losing money, and we've gained it all back. So we're in a really good position this week. And I think because we've got enough stock here for the next 3 weeks or so, I think we're going to be okay. If eBay was like that every day, I could quit my 9 to 5 and just do this, because that was great. I was just sitting there and it was just ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. I didn't know what was going on. And it's not like there were small sales. Some of them were quite big sales. There's a lot to get through. There's 22 orders in total. That's from Friday afternoon, late Friday afternoon actually, till this morning. So got 22 items to get through, so it's all laid out. I'm just going to go straight for it, if I can pick out anything. So we have a weird fish. Picked that up from the car boot 2 weeks ago. I think I paid £2 for it, £2.50, something like that. That has sold for £15.29p. And the reason why that sold so quick is because if you watch my last video, I said that weird fish for me in women's sells quick when it's size 16 and above. That's size 18. Perfect. Next up we have, what can I get to? This is a shirt by a brand called Fat Moose. That's the brand there, if you can see that. That has sold on offer for 15. I picked that up from the car boot. I remember the lad saying that he wouldn't sell it for less than 7, so it would have cost me about 7. But remember, I work on an average price, so my average price usually at a car boot is about 4 or 5 quid, and that's gone for 15 on offer. The next ones are a multi-quantity listing. Is it these ones? They're 2 camo shorts, A409, A409 and A505. Yeah, so one is Nautica and one is, so they're the Nautica ones, they're Route 66. Offer came in, he said can he have them both for 30, £15 each. Lovely, happy to do that. Shorts are flying out. We have, if you watch my last video when I did the stock take, I said that this item was no longer listed. It's because just before I got to the stock take, it had sold. So that's why it wasn't on there. So I'd actually pulled it out to be relisted, and when I come this morning I was like, where's that? I don't know where that is. And then it twigged that it's the same shirt. So that one has sold for £19.50. We've had a couple of items sell for the 2nd time, and one of them's for like the 4th time. So this is a dress by Love and Roses. It sold once before. The lady returned it because it was too long, which is quite annoying because the length is in the pictures. The length is not only in the pictures but also in the item specifics, but it was too long for her. Like, would you not have measured yourself before? So hopefully that one sticks this time. I've had a North Face fleece go. It is a North Face Retro Denali fleece. It's size small. It came from the Boom Wholesale stock that I wasn't happy with, the branded one. That has gone for 24. The reason why that has only gone for 24 is, firstly, the size is extra small. Secondly, it was damaged. So that's what it's gone for so cheap. Next up, we have B1501, I don't have that. B104 is a pair of vintage Wrangler shorts. They have gone for $24.99. Crazy. Next one was the best sale. It is this Rohan jacket, brand new with tags. It says £95 on the tags. I listed it for 65. Offer came in for 55. Happy to take that. Get it gone nice and quick. B1501 is a pair of Levi's 569 shorts. They have gone for $17.99. We have a Ralph Lauren hoodie. Really nice condition, that one. Really good condition. Really heavyweight hoodie. That has gone for $29.99. We have a Def Leppard H&M, so it's only a H&M one, jumper, and that has gone for $19.99. That came from the Vintage Wholesale Supply, where everything seems to be selling for well above what my ASP that I require is. Because there's also another one from that bale, this Def Leppard one, which has sold for $24.99. Might be a bale I have to buy again because they're selling really quickly. Next up we have a Hard Rock Cafe Paris t-shirt. That is sold for $21.99. We have this Heinz Beans Full of Beans t-shirt. It's a kiddies t-shirt. That has sold for $16.99. We have in this bag a pair of Levi's shorts. They used to be jeans, but they've been cut off to make shorts. They've gone for $9.99. Purchased a load of them from, I want to say it was eBay, and they were going for like, no, Vinted. I bought a load of them from Vintage off the same lady. That was her business model. She would get jeans, probably from like rag houses, cut them off so they were shorts. And she was selling them all for £2 each. And I think I bought 10 to, might have been 15 of them. And they are slower sellers than the actual shorts that are made to be shorts from Levi's. They were all Levi's. However, they all seem to be going for about a tenner, so a couple of quid into a tenner, nice and easy. This item, this is the 4th time this item is going out. It is a really nice Ralph Lauren shirt, and if it comes back this time, I don't know what I'm going to do because I've spent postage on it 3 times now. It's gone for $21.99, so it's gone for full asking this time. Last time it only went for $18 on offer, and then I returned it. But it's gone for full asking price. Fingers crossed it sticks. And then, from a clothing point of view, the last one is this Quicksilver hoodie, and that has gone for $12.99. And I know this one is old because I used a blue pen, and nowadays I use black pen. So that's going to be close to a year because that's when I first started. I had the blue pen. So that's gone, and then we sold the first of these canteens from the military bundle that I picked up. Sold the first one of them. This one is the 1980 one, so one of the older ones. That has gone for $7.99. That has gone for $7.99 because there are a lot of these on there. I have one that's got the carry pouch with it, which I've listed for about 17 because there's not that many with the carry pouch. But as an individual item, there's a lot of these on here, so to be really competitive, I've had to go quite low on price. And that's everything that's sold on eBay. I also have had somebody reserve an item on Vinted, said that they get paid on Wednesday, so they're going to pay on Wednesday, so tomorrow. So hopefully that'll be another Vinted sale. But what a day. What a day. Right. Oh, I've had one more. Forgot to tell you. It was this mammoth jacket, if I'm saying that right. It was the one that is damaged. Managed to get 15 quid for it, so in like a week. Can't be bad. Anyway, I'm gonna get it all packed. Good morning, it is Thursday. As predicted, nothing happened on Wednesday. I didn't even do the photographs yesterday, so I planned to do 10 photographs when I got home. However, I just didn't get around to it, so I'm 10 photographs behind. There's going to be no chance for me to do photographs today, so it means I've just got to catch up over the weekend. It is what it is. But what did happen yesterday was an influx of sales. So that's what I'm going to show you now. I've had 13 sales for £242, which for a Wednesday is pretty decent. There was also some of Tuesday nights in that, just for full transparency. I think we're just going to get straight into it and show you what's sold. There's a mixture. There's some clothing. There's some non-clothing. I suppose it still counts as clothing. Anyway, the first item, which is definitely not clothing, is the torch from the military bundle that I picked up a few weeks ago. There's not a lot of value in the torches, and again, there's a lot listed. Because I was unable to test this one, I've had to put it for a lot cheaper. I've took pictures of all of the insides to make sure that the buyer's comfortable, but with no way of testing it, it has just been sold as untested for £9.99. So happy days. Next up, again from the same military bundle, I've sold this cap. It is a size 7.5. I have 2 of these. This one has sold for, I think it was listed for £7.99, and it's sold for £7.19, and they have used the 10% coupon. Happy days. Hasn't stuck around very long. We're already well into profit on that bundle because of the gas mask that we sold, so happy days. Next item that we've sold, a riding hat. Now I always look out for junior riding hats, so that's the label that I look out for. And the reason I look out for junior riding hats, I don't ever pick up adult ones, is because the chances of them being in some kind of accident is very slim. When there are small sizes, kids start doing hobbies and get bored very quickly, or parents run out of money. And a lot of parents don't want to fork out for brand new riding hats. So one of the questions I always ask at the car boot, has this hat been in a fall? The answer is always, and I mean always, no, she just grew out of it, or no, she just didn't like horse riding. And you know, these brand new are really expensive, but on resale they meet my metrics. So this has sold for £22. So happy days. Always going to pick up junior riding hats. Next up we have, this is a fat face shirt. It is a plaid shirt. It has indigo dye, that's what I was looking for. That has sold for £18.99, so really good return on that one. That would have been from a charity shop, I think. I don't think that's come from a wholesale bundle. Next up I have a Hobbs London mini skirt, and bit of dirt on that. That has sold for £13. Now this was listed for quite a bit higher, but because of my buy cost, which was £3 from the eBay buyout, that is why I've let it go for 13. Next up we have, this is an M&M's poncho in a bag. And I picked two of these up from the car boot. I picked up the blue one and the red one. I got them both home and the red one was ripped, so waste of money. But this one has sold for £11.99. I had it listed for a lot higher, and I've just slashed a load of items by 50% because they're coming up to a year. So I'm trying a new strategy, and I'm not going to go into detail with it in this video. I'm going to save it for next video because I'm going to lay out what my new strategy is for my business. And part of that strategy is slashing prices of items that will still make me money, but they've been sat for a long time, so I can free up locations. So that's gone for £11.99. We have a pair of Levi's. They are 541 jeans, men's. They've gone for £17.99. Next up is an England training top. It's a quarter zip, and that has gone for £17 on offer. Originally this is listed for 22. Again, part of that pricing strategy. I was about to slash this down by half, and then somebody offered 17, so happy days. The next one, this did come from a wholesale bundle. Oh no, this came from the eBay buyout as well. So it's just an Alessi t-shirt. It is a really simple t-shirt, and that has achieved £5.99. That was only ever listed for £5.99. It's achieved its full asking price. These are the kind of items that I don't want in my store. So I need strategy to get rid of these items, and that's what I was working on yesterday, which is why I didn't do the 10 photos. Next up we have a Ralph Lauren polo. This one's a really nice one. It's got an embroidery of a polo match on the back of it, really big embroidery. That has achieved £20. It was on for 22. Somebody offered 20. Taking that. This next one is a Rolling Stones hoodie, and that came from the wholesale vintage supply. And I say it every time one of their items sells, I completely got it wrong, because that has achieved £19.99. These are all quite modern, and I'm really surprised that they're going as fast as they are going and for as much as they are going. So yep, I might have to look at buying some more of them. And then the last one is one that I picked up the weekend just gone from my contact at the car boot. It is a super dry shirt. It is a Western style. I believe it's a small. Yeah, I think it's a small. And that has achieved £14. not a bad couple of days on my store. Not bad at all. So I'm going to get all of these packed now, and I've done 5 live. I'm going to do a pick and pass. I need to cross list 10 to Vinted. I have had a Vinted sale. Let me check that out. So the Vinted sale is this pair of Adidas 3/4 shorts. They're from like the early 2000s. They remind me of the ones that David Beckham used to wear when he was doing England training in 2002. So they have sold for £15 on Vinted. They were on eBay for £18.99. I got an offer on Vinted for £15, and because of the no fees, happy to take that. And that rounds up today's sales, or yesterday's sales. So I'm going to get these packed now. I'll check back in if there's any activity. Good morning. We've made it to Friday, and yesterday's sales dropped off a little bit. So I was averaging about £90-ish a day until Thursday, where it dropped off slightly. I'm still not disappointed. It's still £75, but we only had 3 items, and I'm trying to get to that 5 item average sales per day. So the 3 items in question are this Ducati polo shirt, which I picked up from the car boot. I picked up this and a BMW jacket, a racing jacket. The idea behind those were that I'm trying to see if that type of item sells quickly, and if I can make a little bit of profit on the person who's selling it at the car boot. My hunch was yes, and I have made some profit on this. I listed it for £19.99 and I got an offer for £15, and I paid £10 for it. So there's a little bit of profit on that, but probably not enough on the t-shirts going forward. There would be if I did work it out as I normally do as my average buy cost for the whole day. My average buy cost for the whole day that day was £5. So if I work on my average, it's made me a tenner profit before fees, before taxes, etc. So it might be one to look out for. It's gone really quickly, like within a week, so that's good. And I probably could have held out for the £20, but it was nice to see it gone. This next one is a pair of Ralph Lauren woolly trousers, and these did not hang around either. These have only been on a week, maybe a week and a half. They were from the Boom Wholesale Sack, not the last one, the one before that, and they have gone for £20. Again, I had them up for 26. Offer came in for 20. I'm not going to hang around. I'm not going to keep them. They're woolly trousers, so I wasn't expecting them to go so quickly, actually, because normally linen is the one that gets pushed out at this time of year. Woolly trousers tend to sit till winter, so I was happy to get 20 quid for them. And then the last one was this Nike bag. It's just like a day bag, travel bag. I paid 4 at the car boot, no, 3 at the car boot for it. It's in okay condition. It's got a few wrinkles in it. It's got a few stains on it. I'd listed it for 20, and a lot of people have viewed it and not pulled the trigger on it. I mean, normally my items in the first week, they get, I don't know, 10 views, 15 views, something like that. This had something like 160 views, and that was just on eBay. And then on Vinted, it was again, I listed it day one, it got 43 views. So lots of people were looking at it, but lots of people were not pulling the trigger at $19.99. I had a guy from, I think it was Austria, offer me £12, and I understand why he's offered me £12, because of the postage cost. And I decided to accept it. You know, 3 into 12 in a short space of time. Happy days. So that's going through the global shipping program, and that's everything. That's everything from Thursday sales wise. I'd like to say that I'll catch up with you in a minute, and I'll have loads of sales from Friday, but I've not currently had any sales yet, so that's not great. I do want to make sure that I get my photographs done tonight, so because I missed 10 on Wednesday, I need to make sure that I can complete the 10 today at least, and hopefully pick up some of the slack from Wednesday. I've got a lot to go at, so I'm not struggling to find stock. That's the plan. Anyway, I'm going to get these packaged up, and I'll check back in with you soon. Right, so it's currently midday, and we've had one more sale, so I've got one more item to take to the post office, and it is this British Army jacket, and it's gone for £22.49p. I'll see you tomorrow for a big photo session. Good morning. It is Saturday morning. It is just gone 9 o'clock. 9:36, and today I've got to do some photographs. So I plan to do 30 photographs. However, I had a great evening last night of doing some photographs. So I planned to do 10 photographs Friday night. I ended up doing 30, which made up for the 10 that I'd missed, and 10 for today. So I only need to do 20 photographs today to meet the plan. And then tomorrow, it's just about prepping the items and cleaning the garage and getting everything put away. Because at the minute, the 30 that I took photos of yesterday are just dumped down here. But that can be tomorrow's issue. 20 more photos to go. I've still got plenty of stock to get through. Happy days. But before I leave you with the video, I've had a return. Now, I just wanted to mention something really quickly about returns, on how I deal with returns. Now, this came through the post. I've not opened it, but I've refunded the buyer already. And the reason for that is this. Now, it's not because it's the local Green Guide Market magazine. It's because I sold a pair of Vans trainers to somebody, and they said that they didn't like them and they were returning them. And the return came, and this is what was returned. And I took pictures of this item. I took pictures of the return label that was sent through, and I tried to fight the case with eBay as hard as I could, because these pair of Vans trainers were £55, and they've sent me back a local magazine, a local free magazine, I might add. And even with all of the evidence, eBay sided with the buyer, saying that they had returned the item, and I never saw the Vans trainers again. The £50 that I refunded, I never got back again. Now, I only lost my initial investment, which was £6, I think, on the trainers. However, £55 had to come back out of my account for that week, and I was not in possession of the original order. I was in possession of this. This happened very early on last year. And then the cheek of it, that same buyer left me negative feedback. So they returned this instead of the vans, and they said that the item wasn't as described, and that negative feedback is still on my account to this day. So yeah, this is the reason why I just pay the returns, because if eBay are not going to side with me when I've clearly been scammed for a free magazine, they're not going to be fussed about if an item has been worn or damaged, etc. And I feel like big businesses, and I'm trying to have a big business mindset when it comes to this eBay store, big businesses will get this and throw it in a cage and probably not even look at it for weeks on end. And if it's good, they'll put it back into their business, but 9 times out of 10 it will go somewhere else because they don't really want it. Now, I want this item back. I really want this item back, and the philosophy I'm implementing with returns is basically good faith returns. I am still waiting for an item to be returned. This could be a load of newspaper for all I know. But in good faith, I've had a return, I've refunded the buyer, and in good faith, I'm hoping that these are the D-squared jeans. So let's find out. And straight away, I can see that they are absolutely those jeans. Now, I will obviously give them a look over, check that they've not been damaged in any way. But my gut tells me if they've returned the right thing, everything looks like it should do. They don't smell of smoke or anything. They look like the ones I've sent, so happy days. And that's the process for my returns. All because of this magazine. Now, when I get the room down the office, I'm actually going to frame this, because this gave me a massive headache when I first started out, and I've kept this for that reason. I'm going to stick this on the wall as a reminder that thinking like a big business, this, in the grand scheme of things, although it was a massive headache for me at the time, and it kept me up, gave me sleepless nights, and I wanted to quit because of this one person, this one bad experience, I just need to keep going. It's going to be a reminder for me to keep going, and that sometimes some people will be douchebags. Anyway, today's plan is to get 20 photos done, and that's it. The week will be done. From a video standpoint, I don't think you need to see me ironing some shirts tomorrow, and I don't think you need me to see me cleaning the garage. So, once again, thank you very much for watching if you've made it this far. Drop a like, drop a comment. If there's any questions at all, let me know. And just remember, keep chugging away. I'll see you next week.